Alright guys, we have been moving right along the last few days, knocking out a bunch of tasks on the all-wheel drive Type R. In today's video, we are going to get the entire drivetrain done and all of the rear suspension done. In the last video, we got the motor and trans back in the car, all the motor mounts done, a couple accessories up front, all of the front suspension done with the front brakes, viscous reassembled, viscous fully mounted up in the car. The rear diff and rear subframe are just mocked up in here right now just to make sure everything fit with the fuel cells and all that good stuff. Rear diff needs to come back out to get the seals installed. And of course the subframe needs to be coated. So first thing we're gonna do today is knock out the subframe. Before I get this guy coated, I do want to finish up a couple little things on it. I'm going to plate right here, plate right there. I was going to initially pull off the hangers for the exhaust, but the goal with this car is to I really want to run exhaust on it, and the only place to run exhaust through would be right there. I'm not sure if that's enough space. I've never built exhaust before. So just in case, I am gonna leave the hangers on. If we can run exhaust, that'd be cool. If not, the exhaust is gonna have to go either out the fender or out the hood. So this piece here turned into these pieces here. Got them all tacked up. Let's go ahead and fully weld those in, and this guy is ready for the oven. Subframe is all completed in the oh so glorious blackjack from Prismatic Powders, the best OE looking color for this kind of stuff. I'll go ahead and link it down below. That was the last puzzle piece to assembling the rear of this car. So without further ado, let's get her together. Subframe is in and looking better than an OEM one would. Now, before we throw in all the arms and brakes and all that good stuff, I'm not gonna go through and powder coat it because, to be honest, I'm very sick of powder coating right now. And if I were to powder coat, I would just be repowder coating it all black. So we're gonna go ahead and get all this stuff cleaned up. Products I'll be using is the Super Clean Degreaser on everything. And then on the rear knuckles, the only aluminum thing in the rear of this car, I'll be using this stuff right here, aluminum brightener from Napa. This stuff works so freaking good, I promise. Not sponsored, just a good product. I always love me a good before and after, so check this out. Here's a before, and here is an after. Insane. all the suspension set up in there. Before we get much further, we need to get the rear axles in. And in order to get the rear axles in, we need to get the diff in. In order to get the diff in, we got to put our new seals in. Damn. Damn, not the right seal. The pinion seal is correct. Thankfully, the axle seals are not. Well, that makes sense. The part number I needed was 710197. I ordered 710917. So that's why they're 10 times too big. O'Reilly's right up the road. Said they have 2 in stock, which I doubt, but I'm gonna go buy them anyway, just in case. Pleasantly surprised to find they did have them. Fits the T-case, I mean the rear diff. Oof. They fit the axle. Back in business. That right there is the coolest sight in the world. Rear diff, fully mounted, torque down in the FK8. Now it's time for the rear axles. Hopefully I have enough clearance for the axles. I never really did a final test fit before I powder coated the subframe, but we should be good. Also, if you're still using this style of CV boot clamp, try something else. Try these bands. I bought these bands. They're way easier to get tight and they're just quicker overall. I like them a lot. So it's like a self-tightening, or not a self-tightening, a self-clamping type of thing. Like a zip tie. It's a metal zip tie pretty much. Snug her up like that. Put it through the band tightener. Just like that, you're done. Well, things are not always as easy as they should be, which is okay. Makes you smarter. The problem that we're currently running into is you see the axle's in, but when you go to tighten down the axle nut or try to put any torque on it, it completely locks up the rear hub. Just went ahead and pulled it all back apart. So of course, stock and FK8 does not have rear axles. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of machining. You see that little bit of black right there? That's where the axle is hitting right there, right there, right there, and right there. I'm gonna bust out the Dremel, try to shave that down a little bit so this guy can pass through and we should be good. What felt like forever later, finally have it clearanced out enough for the axle. She spins nice and freely, not hitting nothing. We're good to go. Axle is back in, nut is torqued a little bit, and she spins nice and freely. Plenty of space, plenty of clearance everywhere on the axle. The only thing we have yet to figure out is the rear ABS. This is the factory Type R knuckle, factory Type R ABS sensor. And as you can see now, she does not go all the way in. So I'm not sure if I could just space it out a little bit or what exactly we need to do there, but those are minor details. We can figure that out later on. Of course, it'd be cool to maintain ABS on the car. Not a requirement, but it'd be cool. Out. Bam, Bobby. I'm gonna show you something historic. You want to see something historic? Check it out. Do you understand? You want to know what's historic?
What?
First Type R in the world with this and that.
That's freaking historic.
Daddy Dev did it.
I can appreciate it. It looks so good back here.
Are you gonna be sad if she doesn't have ABS?
What would that mean for us?
No ABS. You slam the brakes and you slide.
That's not allowed.
By the way, I'm building this car for Bobby. That's why it's slow.
It's a lie.
We may as well go ahead and slap on some wheel studs, some calipers, some brake rotors, and then I don't see why we couldn't put on wheels for the first time. I guess we should probably do the driveline too, and then get some wheels on and see this thing on the ground for the first time ever in months, which is insane. We have our next issue, and this one should be a pretty easy resolution. The caliper does not fit, and I think the reason for it is because that right there is our factory FK8 rear hub. We are running the 2019 Honda CR-V rear hub because it already has the splines, the proper splines for our CV axles, and it bolts right to the Type R knuckle. I think they are a different spacing from where it mounts to where the rotor goes on. So I need to go ahead and pull this guy off and figure out exactly how much different of a spacing it is. And then we can either space out the rotor or, yeah, I'd probably space out the rotor. I was gonna say we could space out the hub off of the knuckle, but I don't feel like that's very safe. So let's figure out some measurements and see what we gotta do. I was hoping it was a direct bolt on, but it's not. Just another oversight with the 1,000 other things that we're having to figure out on this build. I'm just gonna take some quickie measurements while it's all together. The current CR-V hub is sitting 55.86 off the knuckle, and the Type R would be 61.3. So we need like a 5mm spacer. I might have one. This might work. Now, if I'm gonna do this, I want extended studs, but it's 3mm, 8mm, 5mm, okay. Another 5mm. What are these? 5mm. Now the question is, yes, it will. I was gonna say, will it fit behind the rotor? I actually had to do this on, I think, the BRZ, maybe, when I did the Brembo swap on there. So this isn't a uncommon thing. I do know they make like a solid actual spacer for brake rotors. I remember having to do this on the BRZ, so I will get something different in the future, but for now, this should at least get us in the right direction. Now, so 61.4 and 60.5. So we might have to get a custom spacer made. Looks like we need another millimeter on top of that. But for now, we can at least get the brakes on. Please fit. All right, another problem that we had. 10 seconds later, it's resolved. We're good to go. Brakes are on, and that was the last thing to install to have a entirely complete rear suspension, subframe, and drivetrain on the Type R. There's our nice little diff. Our axles are up in there. Really hoping our axles clear. We have about 2 fingers right now before it hits the subframe. So I think we should be good. Also, this car was extremely low before, so I'll probably raise it up regardless. But I want to put some wheels on, and I don't have wheels here that will fit, that are just laying around. I don't feel like pulling wheels off the car because I do have a set of TEs elsewhere. So for now, what that is going to leave us with is, let's go ahead and slap on the rear portion of the driveline. The front, I am missing some hardware where it bolts onto the viscous, but we can at least get the rear section on. Oh boy, that is nice. Driveline, the rear section fits 100% perfect. No issues whatsoever. She's coming together, my friends. So cool to see. Finally, the rear complete. We are utilizing the 1310 conversion from Speed Factory. Those things were super nice, which I'll go ahead and link down in the description box below. Gotta call it a wrap for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tomorrow, we're gonna get wheels on, get this thing at least rolling around, and then we need to start doing some wiring stuff and turbo stuff and running stuff, which is exciting. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you boys in the next video.